All right, what's up? Merry Christmas. We are saying it today because I do not have any intention of uploading a video tomorrow. That does not mean I won't if random downtime happens, but tomorrow is wholly set aside for spending time with my family. So there are no expectations of making such a video, even though I will absolutely be drinking coffee at some point. Today, we're doing the mix of random flavored coffees. We've got hazelnut and um, the blueberry coffee in here. I don't know if there's anything. You know what? Let's add a little bit of holiday cheer. I got a new bag of this holiday coffee last time I went because it's my favorite one. I'm saving the other two for my family. There's not as much caramel brulee as I'd like. There should be enough for one pot. At the very least, we can make a small pot for them to try it. But yeah, I got a whole new bag of the new holiday coffee. There's probably enough in here to do one more pot, but let's make things interesting and add it to the other coffees. We have a trinity of coffees going here for the birth of Christ. Well, the celebration of the birth of Christ. Not to split hairs, because I don't have that many left, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I want to talk about today is kindness. We're just going right into it today because I had a very interesting conversation with someone I would very much like to consider a friend today. I'm not sure if they see me in the same light. They're a member of my faction in the Star Wars role playing game I play. And, well, they are very much a there's a word. So I've done a lot of reading about various types of leadership and all kinds of things. And ironically enough, so this is, I guess Charlie wants to go outside. He's begging to go out. Let me let him out. Oh, he's like, that's too much light. You still going out, kitty? Charlie, decide right now. Okay, he's going out. We'll let him out in a minute. So, uh, I'm constantly trying to learn everything I can, right? That for me is the peak of human existence, is the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge. So I seek to learn from people who are more successful than me by various metrics, even if I may or may not like the person. For example, someone I'm entirely neutral on, that people have both a lot of negative and positive feelings to, is Mr. Beast, right? Uh, Someone that I'm kind of not particularly fond of as far as some of the things they have done to certain people is Kevin O'Leary, who's one of the Shark Tank guys. He's had numerous situations where he bought someone's business out on Shark Tank and then basically shut it down and took all the money for himself. And I have two things to say to that. First of all, like most of the people that go on there, the people that got rejected did better. I think he's begging to come back in now. I can hear him whining. Come on, cat. All right. They did better than the people that actually got deals. And usually it's because the deals they offered you were shit. Like one of the most successful people to ever go on Shark Tank was the doorbell cam guy. And he rejected all of their offers. The second thing I have to say is it's called Shark Tank, right? You are being thrown into an aquarium with a bunch of predators. Like, just pay attention to the name. People self-report with their names all the time. It's not fucking Dolphin Tank, you know? They're not gonna like come to your rescue and like ride you off the fucking desert island to the nearest safe harbor. It's the Shark Tank. They are looking to find fools whose businesses they can pick apart to make profit for themselves. All right. And I'm not saying that's what happens with everyone, but if you look at it, it's what happens with most of them. But if you're going to be swimming in the Shark Tank, you better be a goddamn shark yourself. And in that situation, they're probably just going to kick you out like the doorbell cam guy. But anyways, to clearly, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the people that host that show. But that doesn't mean there aren't things I can't learn from them, right? My favorite podcast is Diary of a CEO. And I was watching Kevin O'Leary, specifically, his episode. There's two things he said that really stuck with me. Well, three things, actually. One is that he often prefers to hire women for certain roles. I think specifically when it comes to managing finances and things like that. I'm not going to tell you all the reasons why. Go watch the episode for yourself, right? The second thing is he prefers to hire people that have inconvenient, extreme hobbies. So most companies these days, they want cattle to be part of the farm, that they're going to just live in this walled cubicle situation where they have no agency themselves and they just work soullessly and endlessly for the corporation, right? One of the reasons he's been so successful is because he's basically said he does the opposite, right? He wants people that are like, hey man, I'm going to take 2 weeks to ride my motorcycle across the country. I think that was the specific example he used, right? Again, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but that's the type of people he looks for. And I think that's important. But there's one thing, because I agree with the first one was kind of interesting for me. Because, like, if you look at the statistics, men's brains are generally better with math. Women's brains are generally better with language. Men are generally better at emotional regulation. And women are generally better at true empathy and things like that. But so you'd think, like, the person who is better at math and better at emotional regulation is going to be a better financial manager. But apparently, at least in Kevin O'Leary's experience, the opposite tends to be true. So I'm really curious, but I can't deny that it seems to be true because I have two siblings, you know. Um, I'm the oldest of the three. I have a little brother and a little sister. And without a doubt, by far, the most financially responsible of the three of us is my sister. So there's got to be some credence to that, right? Now, there's always there's always extreme examples, right? We're not talking about welfare queens here. We're not because I I bet if you were to like call up Caleb Hammer and take a welfare queen and a deadbeat dad and give them who are like in the same situation and give them the same treatment from Caleb Hammer, the welfare queen probably manages her finances better because how else is she gonna afford those nails that Krogan uses anyways, you know? So I just think that's insane. I just want to get that out of the way. The fact that she's begging for money because she can't afford rent, while at the same time she's bragging about her $120 nails and throwing them off, showing them off to the chat that she's begging money from because she can't afford rent. What the fuck? Okay. Anyways, what do I want to talk about today? So the thing you said that surprised me the most is he the other type of person that he kind of looks at is the willfully negative. I don't know exactly what he said it. He like broke it down really well. I kind of want to go back and watch the episode again, or maybe like copy the YouTube transcript and have an AI find the part for me so I can read it again. But what he said was essentially every so often you'll come across one of those people that has an excuse for everything, a reason why they can't do everything. And he likes hiring those people occasionally. You're taking a risk on them, but the reason why is because he said he's found that, and it makes sense with something I've always said. I guess maybe I haven't really had as much time and energy to invest in people as he does because I'm so busy just trying to get my own shit together, right? But he said that he's found that if you can snap them out of that, they become the most potent and productive employees because it's my statement has always been that people aren't generally inherently good or bad. Now, I am starting to believe that there are some people on this planet that aren't actually people. They're just demons in human form, whether they were born that way or they've become so inherently corrupted in their heart that they can't be saved. I do think that's possible. I, I, and if you look at it, if you believe that Jesus or Mohammed or whatever divine prophet visited this planet, then you kind of also need to believe the opposite is true, right? If like the supreme good is out there walking around somewhere, then the supreme evil probably is too. See, even Charlie agrees with me. But and that's rare because he never agrees with me about anything. See, like right now he's saying, "Okay, you've said enough. Can you like play with me instead of doing your conversation thing with those people that aren't even there?" Okay. Uh, what was I saying? You're distracting me, Cap. So, what he talks about is if you can snap those people out of it, those people that have an excuse for why they can't do everything, um, they will become the most productive and also the employees that need the least oversight, right? Because um, my whole thing is that people are just magnitudes. They're not really good or evil. It's our choices individually that decide our alignment in the moment, right? And what you are is simply the amount of energy that you are capable of bringing to a situation and the ways in which you apply that energy. So it's very similar to what he's saying here because what he's saying is if you can snap that person out of the negative decision making process and uh, find a way to redirect all that energy they make towards coming up with solutions, to have that suddenly be energy that they're devoting towards. I mean, I think I said that backwards. It's really hard to focus when I have a cat constantly begging for attention. Yes, you. Um, if you can take one of those people and who is constantly devoting all their energy to coming up with excuses and snap them out of it and teach them how to devote that energy to coming up with solutions, then not only will they be one of the top 1% of your performers just by metrics, but they'll also be one of the few people that doesn't constantly need instruction or step by steps. You can just say, go do this, figure it out, come back to me when it's done, right? And I am a fool, right? I'm a fool because I just have. There's two things. I always do my best to see the good in everyone, even when they're being really negative and mean towards me. And the other thing is, I just I want to save all these lost souls, right? Even though I literally know that, like, probably at 90%, if not more of them, are likely to be damned to hell. And the end, when he does come back and pass divine judgment on all of us, uh, I just, I want to bring as many into the fold as I can. Uh, So I spend an inordinate amount of time trying to help some of these people, and I shouldn't probably, because that's one of the primary reasons why my life is always so fucked up. You know, I spent like 2 or 3 hours this morning uh, having a conversation with this dude. Um, and I still need to do all this, right? Ooh. Did I? I'm gonna edit that out just in case. There's mail on the table right now, which may have doxed me because since my parents live outside of the country now, they get the Christmas cards sent here. And I've got a stack of Christmas cards. All right, we have covered the mail. I still have all this to deal with, right? This whole table could be cleared off, and it needs to be done for tomorrow. When my parents and sister and brother show up to celebrate Christmas. But instead, I spent 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours this morning having this conversation with this insanely, always intentionally negative person that no matter, like, I don't get it. Um, for a while, my Discord pronouns, I think that's the funniest thing. People don't even use the Discord pronouns feature for pronouns. They use it like the away message in AOL Messenger. If any of you guys are that old, the aim away message. It's just like your status. So for a long time, my pronouns in Discord were "Don't waste your time arguing with idiots." I don't know what they are now. I changed it recently to something a little more positive. But that's mostly a reminder for me more than anyone else that might read it. You know, whenever I saw that, especially because usually it's happening in Discord, it's just like, yeah, this person is clearly just being insanely negative. And there's that little tiny voice in my head that's always trying to flip them because I see all that energy they're pouring into doing evil, and I'm like, bro, if if only they were to pour a fraction of that energy into being a decent human being, the world would be such a dramatically better place overnight. Because it's not even the positive aspect, but just being able to remove that negative drain on society and people's mentalities. And eventually, it got to a point where I was like, look, man, I got things to do. I got to go do things. But I, I hope you find peace and understanding. And that was the thing that pissed them off the most, right? Which is kind of insane for me. Uh, went off, fired off like a whole bunch of insults where they were projecting really hard, accusing me of doing the exact same thing they were actually doing. And like the only response I had to that was to pray for them. You know, I literally took a moment. I was like, God, please help this person conquer their demons. And I was on the fence about this last part, right? Um, I thought about just leaving it at that, but I decided to take it one step further, and I blame Poppy because, you know, she keeps yelling at me, keep telling yourself that you've been playing nice and go beg for forgiveness from Jesus the Christ. Jesus didn't play nice if you actually go back and look at it. You know, he's the original table flipper, or at least he turned table flipping into a meme because he went into the Temple of Jerusalem. He flipped all the tables that people were gambling on and selling a whole bunch of debaucherous things that shouldn't have been in the house of God the way he saw it. He yelled at the scribes and the Pharisees, called them snakes, liars, and hypocrites, and chased everybody out of the temple, right? That definitely wasn't playing nice. So I said, after I finished literally praying for them, that I will continue to pray that you find a way to confront your demons or something like that. And honestly and truthfully meant it. And that set them off to no end, right? I find it ridiculous that people get more offended these days by actual kindness than they do when you're being mean to them. Because here's the thing, I wasn't mean to that dude once. Uh, I could have been. There was a part of me that really wanted to be, because when I was a kid, when I was in high school, especially, um, I read a lot, right? Um, Not as much as I used to, but especially because, like, back in high school, reading was an escape from all the bullshit, especially when I was bored because class wasn't keeping up and I was way ahead of the rest of the class. Uh, Humble bragging, of course, No, just stating the reality. Like, I read Artemis Fowl in geometry class because I was bored. That's what it boils down to. So it's one of those things where uh, I'm not going to claim to have an Eminem level of the grasp of the English language, because I did not just read the dictionary the way he did. Uh, I tried when I heard that he did that. It didn't stick. I couldn't stick to it. But I do read a lot of things. I read Les Mis, and that was one of the densest books I've ever read in my life. The play is amazing, but especially like the first quarter of it is kind of an unbearable slog. I read The Hobbit and most of the Lord of the Rings books. I think I read The Fellowship and I got halfway through The Two Towers. I have the three books somewhere, assuming they all made it the move successfully. That's one of the things I'm looking at getting when I was there, when I was back in Pittsburgh for Trans Siberian Orchestra with my family. They were like, "So, what do you still want from the house?" I was like, "I want these bookcases." Because right now all my books are just in moving boxes. So I was like, when you guys are getting rid of stuff, I want the bookcases, particularly the heavy ones that can hold my vinyl. When I was in college, I used to use my words to wound people because I was a shitty little emo edgelord fucker. And it made me feel good to get one over on people, especially because in like middle school, I'd been bullied for my intelligence. So come around to high school, I started to realize just how fucking dumb most of those bullies were, and I would bully the bullies. Uh, I don't necessarily feel great about it. The weird thing though is sometimes it made things better. I, which is like why I'm on the fence sometimes, right? I think some people have lost themselves so much to their demons that they actually just need slapped in the face to snap out of it. But the problem is, it's really hard, at least for me, to determine when that's appropriate. Because the level of brutality I can bring with my words when I so choose to is also enough to just shatter people. So it's like, how do I draw a distinction between someone that needs a slap in the face and someone that needs a gentle hand. I don't know yet. And maybe that's what the whole stop playing nice thing means. It's impossible to know. So uh maybe I'm supposed to just go around slapping motherfuckers with my words until everyone wakes up. And those that crack under the pressure were never useful enough that God wanted anything to do with them, anyways. And those who get shaken out of their intentionally negative path may choose an intentionally positive path. I'm just spitballing here. But I do find it so incredibly intriguing that one of the most offensive things you can do to a lot of people these days is to actually be kind to them. Because um I guarantee you the conversation would have ended quicker or perhaps even went better if I'd just gone full bore on this person. I haven't gone full bore on anyone in like 2 or 3 years, to be honest. Um, there was one time last year that I unloaded on one of my cousins, but it wasn't them that was the problem in that situation. It was me. You know, I had too much pent up frustration at the entire world, at my whole situation. And they just happened to be the person that pushed me in the wrong way at the wrong time when I was already full of it. So they ended up catching both barrels of that. And I still feel bad about that to this day. Um, Maybe that's also a sign that perhaps I should unload on people more often, the ones that deserve it. That way, the ones that don't deserve it don't catch collateral damage. And by the way, I'm working on something for the beginning of 2026 that is just going to be unloading on the entire fucking world. I'm looking forward to that. But that's a teaser for now. I'll start teasing it more actively once it's close to being done. There's the more I work on it, the more I want to do for it, and so I'm in that artist loop of like it's not perfect yet, and I need to. I haven't even really started yet. We're just finally in the putting pen to paper phase. So the issue is going to be once I do all of that, how much extra production do I do on top of that? That's where I'm going to need to uh, make some tough decisions, I think. But the big thing is, um, I think it's also important to say you can give evil no quarter. And it's really hard to tell when you're just actually confronting evil. And thinking about it now, if it were just like a conversation in DMs, I probably would have been a lot less gentle with them. But instead, I went and uh, was as gentle as I could because it's in the main channel of our faction Discord, the main private channel, right? We have a public channel for the faction Discord where anyone who's part of the role playing game can join it and just have fun. Lots of public channels like memes and stuff, but then there's also like the non public section where uh, it's only faction members that can talk there. I randomly have whatchamacallit, the Sandman. And this person, for whatever reason, decided they had a need to shit on people for enjoying the holiday, basically. Because this all started with just everyone wishing everybody Merry Christmas. And it was like, Jesus isn't real and religion is terrible type thing. And meanwhile, I'm just like, okay, grow up, dude. That's like something edgy fucking teenagers say when people wish you Merry Christmas. Like, grow some fucking balls and a backbone, you know? That's what was going on in my head. But because it was happening in a semi public forum, I felt a need to kind of lead by example and just be gentle with them and try to actually figure out what was going on in their head and see if I could help them through it. And the answer is nothing. You know, I think at this point, the person has either fully succumbed to their demons or is at a point where they're so deep in the throes of negativity that they actually just need a slap to the face to wake up. But I wasn't willing to do that in the faction Discord for two reasons. One, I do feel it sets a bad example to resort to that, uh, especially right off the rip, even though I spent like 2 or 3 hours talking to them trying to figure this out. So we're moving on. We didn't go right off the rip. But two, well, there's three reasons. Two, especially around the holidays, I'm just trying to keep the peace, you know? Um, I don't want to cause people a whole bunch of anger and frustration on Christmas Eve. So, one, I wasn't going to do it to that person, no matter how negative they were being towards me. And two, I just wasn't going to do it to everyone else in the Discord. So I said my piece. I said, hey, man, I hope you uh, work on this and find peace and understanding. I hope you find ways to confront your demons. And then I muted the channel for 8 hours. So I'll maybe check in at some point, but before that or maybe after, depending on how much work I get done. But it's one of those things where I can't waste time or energy on this person anymore who is fully dedicated just being negative on a day that's supposed to be positive and joyful. It's like, why are you that fucking evil, you know? And I do have one other thing to say. Um, I'm putting it at the end here because I'm scared of him and I don't want him to call me out from his fucking weeb chair with the waifu cups everywhere. But Tectone. No, I'm kidding. I'm not afraid of any man. There's just one woman that scares me and that's it. Uh Tectone, I saw your tweet. He's never going to see this, but this is just for everyone like him, right? I saw your tweet recently where uh, you were getting mad at people for saying happy holidays. Can I just say that is one of the things that pisses me off the most about a lot of Christians, right? Like, get off your goddamn high horses, you know? Like, honestly, if you were to meet Christ today, do you really think he would give a fuck if someone said happy holidays or Merry Christmas? Either way, it is in the spirit of giving and joy. In fact, by getting mad at someone for saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, you are being the problem. You are being the Antichrist, you know? What is the Antichrist? Because there's a lot of conversation about that people don't understand properly. There is this misconception that the Antichrist is an individual being that's going to come and at the end of the world lead the forces of evil. No, that is the great deceiver uh, and his general, the beast. That is a different distinction. Now, maybe I'm wrong because there are different translations of the Bible and I need to reread it anyways. That's something I want to do in the new year is read the New Testament on stream again. We're going to bring that back. But what the Bible actually says about the Antichrist is the Antichrist is the parts within you that cause you to reject Christ in your heart. Now, ask yourself truly if Jesus were standing next to you and someone wished you a happy holiday and you cussed them out because they didn't say Merry Christmas, who do you think you would be more upset at? Answer it honestly. Tell me, who do you think you would be more upset at? So, you know what? Because I was gentle with that dude, and you're out there throwing all this shade at people, and I know you can take it. Fuck you, Tectone. Grow the fuck up, be a man, and learn some goddamn kindness during the holidays. All right? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna wrap this up at 42 minutes on the dot because apparently that's the answer to everything. I love all of you. God bless America. Cheers.